Honestly, I don't care that in the beginning of September, we still have 36, not 36, 26, 28, 29, or even 30 degrees Celsius outside. I am now in the BER month. So September, October, November, December. That means here in my heart, in my head, it's fall, it's holiday, it's time for palettes like this. And I finally have the Too Faced Appley in Love palette that I really want to use. But since my schedule is very, very much filled with single looks that I want to film for longer reviews, I will in this video do 2 looks with this palette, but I will incorporate it with a testing new product. Some of these are already half tested off camera and on camera, and I just want to do a chit-chatty video with new products. And before we start, I of course want to tell you something about this. I even kept the packaging because honestly, this looks like a fairy tale packaging, you know, like a Disney movie themed packaging. It is so nice. It says, this juicy palette is packed with 18 super sweet shades inspired by the fresh colors of real apples. Must have neutrals and pops of red, green, and warm caramel and a variety of finishes. Let you create and recreate every seasonal trend with creamy blendable formula that smells like caramel apple. Honestly, I don't know what caramel apple is. I never ate it. I have never smelled this, but first of all, can't believe that I'm saying this, but this palette is, just from looking at it, probably the best Too Faced palette that I have ever seen. Aside from that pumpkin spice palette, that first in the tin packaging of the pumpkin things, that is not, I think it's not sold anymore, but I missed that. But that was also a very good fall color story. But this, joy. And the smell, I don't smell apple. I'm honest with you. This does not smell like apple at all. But it smells like, my kitchen in the fall and holiday time, like my whole house, because of the candles that I burn, because I burn very spicy candles in that time. It smells like spicy cinnamon buns and like warm spices. Like my oven in that time. I'm not crying. I have to stop to cry about makeup all the freaking time, but smells, or like your smelling sense is the one that is the strongest connected with your brain, and that is responsible for a lot of memory connections. So certain smells can unlock forgotten memories, and while there is no specific memory that I can unlock with this smell, this is just a smell that makes me insanely happy. And of course, I will swatch them for you. I just want to point out though that I am still pissed by the fact that the shade names are printed on top of the pans. Please, Too Faced, don't do this. The last Too Faced palette that I used was the Aperol Spritz, and while I in general enjoyed that palette, the color story was very off for me, and that's why I decluttered it at the end. So we have Sweet on You, Sparkling Cider. Ooh, that feels like a Natasha Denona, one of her new thinner but very impactful shimmers. I don't know how the formula is. The one that we were introduced with the I Need a Nude one. Core Value, wow. And Appley in Love. Sometimes when you swatch eyeshadows, people are like, oh, they feel very creamy. By touch, they don't feel creamy. They feel a bit dry, but they swatch not dry. They swatch creamy. But I have to put on my glasses because otherwise I can't read the shade names. We have then Pick Me. This is, I thought it is more shimmery, but it is more matte with a hint of gold in it. Applesauce, Smitten, very thin and nice. And Sweetie Pie, pink with gold flecks. It's a very, very cool color story. Not cool in the colors, but like cool. Nice to look at, cool. Then we have Bite Me, which by the way looks like NARS Orgasm Blush. Caramel Apple. Apple of My Eye. These names. And Candy Apple. That swatch a bit patchy, but you know me, I don't care so much for the swatches. I always want to know how they apply on the eyes, and I do have some inspirational ideas what I want to do with this palette today. We're already in the last row, and we have Crunch Time. Turn over. All the people who love the mustard shades will just pee themselves. So snackable, also a bit patchy. And then I do it here. Slice Baby, a beautiful icy mint. The last two shades are Orchard Stroll and Basket Fool. Ooh. I have to admit that, for example, with the Aperol Spritz, one of my biggest critique points was that it is too mid-toned. I was missing deepening shades. I was missing lighter shades. But this one, honestly, you can have the depth in every of these color families that we have here, because we have the greens that you can easily darken with this one. You can use this one to dark everything, but you also have the dark reds and darkish pinks to just darken redder looks. I'm very happy with these. So let me remove the swatches from my arm and then we start, because I have some other products to talk about too. This is the Clé de Peau Correcting Cream Veil. This was in the Cult Beauty Advent Calendar last year, and shame on me, that is how long it was in my backup drawer, but I very recently just went through the backup drawer and I made a bit of a turnover here with my primers, and I decluttered some. I put some in my focus box that I used up by now, and basically everything that I had in the backup drawer in primer wise I now have here on my desk to try. One of them, by the way, is the Glowish Blur Jam. I bought this with release and I haven't used it since then, but now I've tested it the past week and I love it. I missed out big time. But here we have the Correcting Veil. The only thing that annoys me with this is that this is tinted, and I don't like to apply tinted things with my fingers, but I will do it anyway. It comes out white, like cream, but it says that this will correct redness and discoloration. Is a bit brightening maybe even. It has a fragrance, definitely. A lot of Clé de Peau products have fragrances. It feels nice. It feels not really hydrating or mattifying. I don't know if it corrected anything. Maybe a bit, but I definitely have to try it. But like first impression feeling, I mean, I have used worse primers actually, just from the first impression feeling. By the way, since my Clé de Peau stick concealer is empty, I am working my way through the REM Sweetener Concealer for my spot concealing, and honestly, I don't know, when this is empty, will I repurchase this one or the NARS Pot Concealer? I think they are very, very similar, but I prefer the shade of the NARS one a bit over this. And you know me, I do set my eye primer and my concealer, and I use the Made by Mitchell eye lights for this. This is not new by any means. I have already emptied 2 in this one, so I only have 2 left here. I'm currently working on Aurora. I basically just dust it on top. This is technically a eye brightening powder, so like a finishing powder for your under eyes. I personally just like to set the concealer with, but yeah, you can use it however you want. And that happens when you have a blemish underneath that you scratched open and now it's wet. So nothing will hold up to this. Now let's start with the eye looks. I want to do one eye reddish caramelly apple warm that will incorporate the mustard shades. And in the other eye, I want to incorporate the green a bit. So I don't know where to start. I'm going to start with core values. And apply this on one eye in the crease and up to the transition area. And on the other eye, I take turn over and apply this in the same area. I now go into applesauce and I apply this on my right eye in the crease. I'm just using this to deepen everything, and whatever is left I already apply here on that outer V area. And I mush it into that core value shade. I also tap back into core value and I just reapply it here a bit. And for my left eye, I go into Awkward Stroll and apply this in the crease. That is going to be a very, very orange pumpkin-y look. And with all the fall magic in my heart, I'm not mad about this. I now tap into Candy Apple, which by the way is a lot of pinkish magenta undertones and not so much dark reds. But I use this here on the outer V area to redden the look. For the other eye, I go into Basket's Fool and apply this here on the outer V area and a bit in the outer crease. So on the right eye, of course, I want to use Appley in Love. And I tap this on the outer part of the lid. And then I go into Sweet Pie. And that one I apply on the rest of the lid. And I went back into Appley in Love to just tap it on where both meet. Then back into Sweet Pie and also tap it on. On the other eye, I go now into Crunch Time and I tap this here on the outer part. And I now go into Apple of My Eye and apply this on the inner lid part. And same as on the other eye, where both meet, I just tap back into the shades and tap where they meet so that I can create my beloved gradient. For foundation, I showed this already in a Get Ready With Me. In the Controversy Friday, I used this for the very first time, I think. The new Dior Skin Perfect, Dior Forever Skin Perfect Foundation Stick. I have the shade 00. It is too light for me, but because of its thinness, it blends very, very easy, and with bronzer, it does the job. This is everything that I need on my face, and I just blend that now out with my foundation brush. I have tested this now with a couple of my primers, and I have to admit with most of them, or no, it looks good with all of them, but I do not like the way this foundation looks on my forehead and between the brows. I feel like these two areas, it tends to look very dry, although it isn't. So I already see these like dry bits, like they are exaggerated, although there are no dry bits in real life. So I now just go over that with a sponge. It helps definitely. And I don't know, during the day I feel like nobody notices that. What I really do not like about this foundation stick is the scent. This is so heavy fragranced. I don't know why you do this. Why do you fragrance a foundation? But overall, I think it's a nice foundation stick. It's nothing revolutionary. I don't think that this lands high in my ranking for Elemis. By the way, I can already tell you this year I will not rank everything in Elemis because I did a overall ranking last year and not so many things have changed. But what I will do is I will do a top 5 in every category. Aside eyeshadow palettes. With eyeshadow palettes, you already told me what you want to see, so there will be 2 eyeshadow palette rankings this year. One is going to be ranking all the new eyeshadow palettes that I tried in 2024. And then there will also be a top 10 eyeshadow palettes of my collection. And that will just then mix up the new ones that I tried and the old ones from last year. Also new from Dior, they now have a contour stick. That's also fragranced. You know me, with contour sticks, I don't use them like this. I take a angled face brush and then I just go over it a couple times. This was way too often, so the contour stick is very, very pigmented. So yeah, oh, fuck. So I apply something and now I just wipe it off here. I have a dry towel and now let me just blend that out. The shade that I'm wearing is 01 Light. I like it. I really, really do like it. It's a good shade. I don't want to call this so much contour. To me, this is too warm for being a real contour. I mean, you see how it looks. I really enjoy this. I have seen a lot of people complaining about the size of the products because this component down here is empty. All the product is up here because when you twist that, do you see it? Only the metal part twists. And when you twist it up, it's not a lot. So the metal part is not even full. But I don't know why people do this. Do people not check the grams underneath? Because this is 10 grams of product. This is a fucking lot of contour. I was very, very kindly gifted a few bits of the Peach Festival collection from Girlcult. The PR was sent to me by Look Healthy store and I decided to get 2 of the blushes. One is the shade Peach. That one I actually already used. I know, who am I? Peach blush. I don't know. It does not go on very peach. In my opinion, it is more pink than peach, but very, very light. Hence why I chose this because of the swatches. And of course, I had to also get the shade Blood. This looks like the Jelly Sticks, the milk one, but in a pan, and this one I haven't used, so I hope it looks good. As per usual, Rare Beauty blush brush, so I just take some with me here. It looks like nothing. By the way, the products, oh, they smell like peaches. They do smell peachy. And now let me tap it on. Okay, it's a hint of nothing. Okay, there is a sheen of color. If you compare this to this cheek, I don't even know if you can tell because the lights are washing out. This is a very, very light blush. So if you want to dig into red blushes, honestly, this is a good one to start. And now that I have applied this all over my face, honestly, I see it. And it looks really good. And the smell, I mean, it's artificial peach. It's not like a fresh peach juice or something, but it smells good. Is it maybe more visible with a finger? Yeah, absolutely not. There is absolutely nothing visible, but now that I have it on, I see it. It's a very, very soft blush look. I don't think it lifts my my foundation, but look at how beautiful this looks in the center, like a flushed look. I like that. For highlighter, I'm using one from my focus box, and I can't wait to update you at the end of the month or the beginning of next month Look at how big this pan has grown. Although it was nearly a full month that I didn't use this because I was filming my highlighter series. Let me know, do you want me to curate a fourth focus box of 2024? Because I was thinking of not doing a focus box for the last 3 months of this year. Because I don't know, I feel like in the holiday time, I don't want to distract myself with products like this. Maybe, I don't know. Should I not? What do you think? I'm already thinking about this and what would I put in there? I don't even know what I would. Maybe bronzer blush could be something I can focus on. Maybe a foundation too. A primer could do the job too. I don't know. Let me know, do you want to see a last focus box of 2023? I will definitely keep on the focus boxes for 2025. I honestly really love this, and that helped me using up a lot of products this year. So on the eye with the reds, I'm using the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner in Be My BB. And I line my waterline with that, but I will do something fun for the lower lash line. And on the other eye, I'm using the Victoria Beckham Eyeliner Casual Satin in Cocoa. Hoping that this is a warm brown, because I haven't used that specific shade until now. Yes, it is a warm brown. And I tap with a flat liner brush into Baskets Full again. I'm starting to blend out here because the satin gel tend to set and then be unable to smudge. I mean, you have a bit of time to smudge it, but I don't want to risk it. So I use this one very, very gently. And on the other eye, I tap into Candy Apple. And that one I use on the outer lash part, about 2/3 in like that. I now go into Pick Me and I start to smudge this in the inner third of the lower lash line and then bring it outwards. That shade needs some building, at least in this small area in my opinion. And I also tap into Core Values again and I use this to smudge it on the outer half, and that one I then slightly bring in. In the center, where both mix, it turns into a nice brown color, but you can still see the different colors that I used. On the other eye, I now go into Caramel Apple and I smudge this below the dark shade. It still catches the vibe of the look, but it goes away from being mustardy into being orangey golden. I tap now into Slice Slice Baby and I use this on the red look as my inner corner highlight. I also bring it a bit in to not cover everything on the green, but to amplify it. And I also go into Sparkling Cider, and that one I use as inner corner highlight on the other eye. So far, honestly, both looks are a hit. I like them both a lot. So let's tackle powder. This past week, I have been using these powders. These are the new reformulated Givenchy setting powders, and the internet is burning currently because a lot of people are very, very mad that they went back from this. They took this from the market, and a friend of mine went to a Givenchy counter and asked if they have some of the old formulation, and the lady there basically said no, they are not allowed to sell them anymore. So the only question we still have, is it the store policy or is it the Givenchy policy? If you have any info, let us know. But I bought a big one of the shade 00 and a small one of the shade 01. In the old formulation, I'm wearing 01, and the biggest difference between those actually is the old formulation is mattifying. This one, not so much. I tested these now since I got them. For you, it has been a good 2 weeks. Here in my time zone, it's like 1.5 weeks. Maybe for you, it's then even 3 weeks. I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded. But if you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen my Insta stories about this. I like them. I think they look very, very pretty. What they do not look like is matte. I give them that. So if you are expecting something matte, you will not get this in here. But they look like skin. And I'm not kidding you. They look like a natural skin finish. I don't think that they are overly shiny for my eye. They look like my skin half an hour after I applied my skincare. The skincare is sunken in. There is some gorgeous, like natural, because of the skincare, hydrated glow going on, but it's not highlighted shiny. So my first impression was that this one is maybe working better as a finishing powder. I tried that, didn't like it. I like them both as regular setting powders, and I'm using the shade 00 today to show you what I do with this. So there is now a bit here in the pan, or in the powder, in the sifter. I don't like the way this comes out. And of course, something is here on the top. I have a puff that is a bit dirty because I used it already a couple of times. But I basically pick up the powder and then I just slightly tap it on. And with the puff, I basically go over my T-zone. Like that. So I've covered now the center of my forehead, my nose, the sides of the nose, my chin, and a part of the cheeks. And then I take a brush, because I think it is much better to apply than the rest of the powder with a brush. So I pick some up here from that sifter. That's now quite a lot. So I tap it off in the lid. And then I just start to dust and swipe this on. With this technique, you are going to look very, very messy like I do, but I will remove it with a lint roller in a second. So my face feels set now, and I don't want to say that people used it wrong. Definitely use a powder however you like. But I think a big difference between the way this looks on my skin and the way this looks on all those people's skin that applied it on TikTok and wherever is the method. When you use just a puff and you constantly press that on, of course it looks different. A puff will give you a much more concentrated powder application than a fluffy brush is doing. That's why I like to apply it with a puff just in the center. And then I fluff over everything with a brush and apply it on the perimeter. And also apply the powder on the sides of my face with the brush. I don't know about you, but I think this, the way it looks now, is just looking like I applied skincare. It's very, very natural looking, not too matte, not too shiny. I personally prefer the new version over the old one. But I just had a chat about this with my friend Daniela from Fedora Beauty, and she was like, yeah, I understand that, but I need that. Please always to consider what skin type do you have. I have normal skin. I do not have very oily skin anymore. I do have here and there dry spots, but it's not super dry. So I do understand that if you have very oily skin and you are not looking for a dewy look or for a natural look, you want to have a super mattified face, this is definitely going to be a big, big disappointment for you. But I strongly disagree on all the TikToks saying that this is not a good reformulation, that this is worth. It is a completely different finish, and I'm sad about this. I'm sad about the fact that customers do not have a choice anymore. Okay, brows are done. Did you know that Cherup, the brand with the big dragon palette, the one that I really, really love, the one that has this beautiful palette with Freya 86, now has single eyeshadows. And not only single eyeshadows, they also have single face products. Let me show you the palette. They basically at this point have two collections. One is the DIY collection, and then they have a new one that I forgot the name. But this one here, I was sent also in PR. These are all magnetic single eyeshadows, and look at how pretty they are. Can I show you one? Yes. This is how they come in this bigger square packaging, and you just pop them in here. Look at how pretty they are. I haven't tried the eyeshadows yet, but as said, they have a second collection that I also will get in PR. Can't wait to try this because it's very ethereal looking. And then I also have this one, and this has face products. So they have different blushes, they have different contour shades and highlighter. And I decided to make myself one with two blushes, a contour and a highlight. Sadly, the contour came a bit shattered, so just one little edge broke off, but that's not really bad. So this one was not sent in PR to me. I bought this myself actually. But I really like it. I have used this already once, and start with the contour. This is C605 Moon Shadow. The contour shades have, they come in 3 different ones, so I'm not sure which shade this is, but to me, Moon Shadow is a really, really nice contour shade for my skin tone. It's not too ashy, it's not too dark, but it's also not so light like it's usually with Chinese skin products that it does not show up. Because yes, even on my white skin, some of the Asian beauty face stuff, they do not show up on me. But you can't deny that but honestly, this looks really pretty. The blushes come in split pans, so if you want to use them single, you can. They are very, very light. So I've used this one. This is C701 Gravity already, and this is C700 Intersection. I mean, can you even tell that these are blushes? They are very, very light. As I said, the other one I already used, I needed a lot of build up. But I'm using this one today, this more cool tone pink, and I just try to pick up a lot of product. Let me apply this. Same with the blot blush. It's very, 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 very light. But honestly, I don't think it's the worst thing. Sometimes I want to have just a wash of color, and I can appreciate that. Now for the highlighter, they do have beautiful highlighter shades. This is C600 Sparkling Light, and I use a Real Techniques setting brush that I think since Beauty YouTube 2014-15 is the perfect highlighter brush. I applied. It has a pinky golden shift, so it actually complements both eye looks. So pretty. Asian beauty highlighters are not from this world. They are highlighters on crack. They are usually very intense, very sparkly. Exactly my vibe. So brow bone highlight is still missing, and I decided to use a Smitten on both eyes. This matches both eye looks. I could have used the inner corner highlight too, of course, but for the sake of trying as many shades as possible, I thought let's just go with Smitten. Very sparkly, very pretty. Very soft, honestly. I expected a bit more oomph. I have used a lot of shades in this palette. I think the only ones that I haven't used are Bite Me, So Snackable, and Sweet on You. So I've used 15 shades in this from this palette now for 2 looks. So I'm gonna now finish the rest of my face and then give you a sweet summary of everything. Okay, I'm done. On the lips, I'm wearing MAC Whirl lip liner. Yes, Whirl, I just had to double check. And I used one of the Girlcult, no, it's not from the 4 Great Inventions series. I think it's from their regular matte lip creams, and this is the shade M58, a nice warmish brown. Honestly, I absolutely love this eye look. Let me just correct my piercing so you see all the sparkles here. I adore both sides. Yes, me, the hater of mustards, but this This eye is so freaking stunning. I mean, the very, very dark brown waterline, that pays into that too. But also this eye with the green, the red, I absolutely adore this. Honestly, this palette, had Too Faced done something to this? Is there a reformulation of their eyeshadows? Because it feels different. Aperol Spritz was nice. The quality was good. The mattes were really good, but the shimmers, they were very easy hard panned. These here, they feel dry when you touch them, especially the mattes feel super dry, but they go on so good, so easy. They do not have a lot of kickback. They apply very, very beautiful, and I'm still not over the scent. I am fairly happy with this, to be honest. If you are afraid of red eyeshadows and you don't know if you can wear them or not, if it works or not, I think this is a very good beginner, because the only real red you have is Appley in Love, and that's the shimmer that you can easily manipulate by topping with something lighter, by adding something different to it. Candy Apple and Snackable, they are reds, yes, but the red tone is not so visible in my opinion. They both are much more pink, dark magenta colors with a hint of red, so they're easier to incorporate into looks. The pops of green are beautiful, and I am just beyond happy that I have this palette and that this is now part of my collection. Oh. Beautiful start into the fall releases. Everything else on the face, very, very nice. I am not too sure, as said, about the foundation stick. In general, I wore this now a couple times. The wear time of this stick is not the very best. Let me just tell you that. Even though I use primer, I use setting spray, I even use finishing powders when I have normal work days. But still, after like a good 4 to 6 hours, it comes off. Let me just tell you that. So it's like skin tint in a stick format. So I don't think this is a full-blown foundation, at least on my skin. For the primer, I can't tell you a lot. I think it looked really nice on the skin. It did not interrupt with the foundation at all. Some primers and foundations do not work with each other because of their ingredients, you know that, oil-based, water-based, whatever. And overall, I like that look. Everything that I used today, I really enjoyed. I will keep on testing the primer. I have to form my opinion on the foundation. The big winner, of course, is the eyeshadow palette. That was the center of attention in this video, and I'm very happy that my expectations with this palette were not destroyed. Let me please know down below what you think about these products. Have you tested any of these? If so, how do you feel about them? Thank you so much for watching. And if you do not want to answer the question, or if you do not have an opinion on these, but you still want to push the algorithm, comment fall magic. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss out on any cool videos, and I see you in the next one.